Welcome to this video. Yeah, this is a new video in a series covering the tournament that I played on Mallorca. This is the third round coverage, and this is now a very serious opponent after winning the first two games. Only a couple of players were left with 2 out of 2, so I was part of the bottom half of this player group in terms of rating, so I got a much better opponent this time. And yeah, I got the black pieces against Aloisas Kveinys. That's a pretty well-known grandmaster from Lithuania. He's rated 2547, so pretty solid grandmaster. He's in that rating range for, I don't know, 20 years or something. I know him for ages, at least from looking at his games, not personally. He's I guess around 50 years old, so a veteran of the tournament circuit. So let's see what happened in this game. He played 1d4 as he usually does. However, when I prepared for the game, I wasn't totally sure what he would play, because right here he had played numerous systems. He had played mostly knight f3, but also g3 and knight c3. So basically all moves that are played here, all main moves, and it was very tough to guess. It would have been very funny if he played knight f3, because then I would have played the bogo, the opening that I'm looking at in my book that is in the works. And the funny thing in this would have been that Kveinys in fact is the world's leading expert on the bogo line that I'm choosing in the book. My book contains numerous examples of his play, so it would have been funny to play that, but it didn't happen. He played knight c3, so we got a Nimzo. And he went for e3. Yeah, he had played that before, but only, I don't know, very limited amount of games. So I couldn't, this wasn't very high on my list, let's say, of things that I expected. And well, this is one of the lines that I only recently worked on for the manuscript of the book. So I was pretty confident that I at least should know something. Okay, we play this this line, normally called the Hubner variation, with knight c6 and the capture here, and now d6. Yeah, that's a line that is known pretty much since the early days of the Nimzo Indian. In fact, even Nimzowitsch himself had played this way, but there was never really a name attached to this particular setup until Robert Hubner, the leading German grandmaster of the 70s and 80s, picked it up in the early 70s, and then it was named a Hubner variation. There's also a well-known game in the legendary 1972 World Championship match between Fischer and Spassky, where this line was played by Fischer, and I can show you how this went, because we follow this example. The Fischer-Spassky game, or Spassky-Fischer, Spassky was white, was a bit different because Fischer had not castled, but it can easily transpose. d5, knight e7. Yeah, in this position, Spassky, almost this position, Spassky had played the move knight h4. Up to that day, this is still the main move, and I actually believe that it is white's best try. It wasn't played in this game here by Kveinys. He chose a different plan, but knight h4 is a good move. The idea is that black's main plan in this line is to play later f5. So black will move this knight away somewhere, mostly to e8, and then go f5, and knight h4 is immediately playing against this idea. The other idea is that it frees up the f pawn, and it allows queen f3. After that, h6 is the main move, and here the way Spassky played was f4, which was answered by knight g6 by Fischer. We got this very interesting pawn formation, which was really a revelation at the time, that this formation is actually good for black. Not like black is better, but a totally fine formation. Was really yeah, it amazed lots of people back then. Nowadays it is pretty much common knowledge. Yeah, so this is a bit of history of the line. Kveinys played knight e1. The idea is comparable. He wants to have the f pawn push at the right moment. The knight can relocate like this, or after g3 via g2 e3 or g2 h4. There are ideas like that, and it also, the main point is really to make the f pawn free. Yeah, I remembered that when I worked at the book, that this was a serious move, but I mostly remembered, okay, knight e8 is to be played, very logical anyway, and I played that rather quickly. And here he played queen c2, which is a move that has been played before, but when I looked at this line in the book, I remembered that g4 was an interesting move played by Nakamura. Very early game by Nakamura from 2003, when he was just 16 years old. Just playing against f5. This is rather interesting. Yeah, okay, but I don't want to be so thorough in the opening, because there was many interesting things later. Yeah, queen c2 makes lots of sense. It looks at this f5 point. And in fact, if I now play f5, he will play f4, a typical kind of counterstroke. And after that, it's not very comfortable for black. I think f5 is mistimed. The problem is that he's basically threatening to take on e5, and I cannot recapture with the piece. I don't really want to recapture with the pawn. And yeah, there are various problems. If I take, for example, bishop takes, there is this yeah, intermediate threat, so I cannot really prevent him to take. And yeah, something like that is also not ideal. Yeah, this is playable. It's not terrible, but the thing is, I think I have a much more precise move. I played h6 here, and this is just better because f5 is still in the mix. Him playing f4 just like that is not really leading to much, because here I get good control over e5. Yeah, the knight is guarding this important spot, and I might be, that's a bit much. I might be able to even get the other knight involved into this e5 square fight. f4 is not good, so he basically expected the move. Now g3 is the move that makes most sense. It supports f4, and it allows the knight to come to g2. Yeah, and now I played f5. I really thought there is no point in waiting anymore, and it seems to be okay. He went f4, very logical. White can also take, but f4 is just more testing. This shouldn't be a big problem. I thought this is the relatively best way to play. And then black can also play bishop h3 with no particular problem. Also a reason why waiting for g3 is a good idea. You have this this additional possibility. So on f5 he played f4 as expected. Yeah, and here here I just I just had a brain slip, not a tongue slip, a brain slip. I thought, okay, well, I need to take on both. I need to take on f4 and I need to take on e4. Yeah, basically something like that was my idea, or let's say to get this position. Yeah, and then knight f6. And I actually thought, okay, it's absolutely doesn't matter in which order I take, like taking here first or taking on e4 first. In fact, it is a big difference, and I completely missed that it is a difference. Here, f takes e4 is much better. This is quite comfortable for black. For example, after bishop f4, I had intended knight f6 with a decent game, but even g5 is possible. This was pointed out by the computer afterwards. This I didn't really look at in the game. Maybe when we would have reached it on the board, because I mean this is very comfortable for me. I get an additional tempo later, and this h6 g5 is not a serious weakness. I can easily play knight f6 here, for example, and I don't have any problems. I'm very quick with bishop h3, queen d7, rook f8, and he cannot really exploit the weaknesses. So this would have been better, because my problem was I took here, and then after some thought he captured on f5, and I absolutely hadn't looked at this move. It's not a big problem, but yeah, I mean I should have seen it, so it was a bit embarrassing. Here I took on g3, which is interesting, but probably bishop takes f5 still would have been the sane choice in a way. Let's say rook f4, queen d7. I don't think that I have a big problem. The only thing that black, I mean not a big problem, is I don't think I have any problem. The only thing that black really must be aware of is the possible e6 weakness here. But you always have knight c7 to cover e6. So this would have been okay. I took on g3. This does not seem to be a mistake, but it sharpens the position considerably, and I think it's much more difficult now for me to play. Yeah, he recaptured with a pawn, of course, and knight f6. This was my idea when I captured on g3, to get the knight over to e5. However, my my judgment here wasn't really great. I think white has chances for an advantage, and we will see rather quickly that I get into trouble. Knight g2 as expected, knight g4, knight h4. This was very logical, and now I went to e5. Maybe black has a more precise move here, but this was just the idea that I had when I took on g3. Yeah, here's the first very critical position of the game. It seems, and I absolutely hadn't looked at the move, it seems that the best move here for white is the move bishop to e4. This is pointed out by the engine here, Houdini. And this is in fact very strong. The problem is, what is my move now? I have huge problems to play this position. I'm in a position where I lack space, and the problem is I cannot really take on c4. Yeah, if I take, then there's f6 coming, and the position opens up to white's advantage. Something like that here is not going to end well. This is very similar to the game. If you compare this to the game, the problem is that I just took this c4 pawn, which is not really that important, and I dislocated or I misplaced this knight on c4, which is not helping in the defense. This is in fact a winning position. I mean, it's a bit tough now to show, but if you look at this, all white's pieces do attack, and in the game I was barely able to defend, and here white has like 2 extra moves. So taking on c4 is really not great. And if I don't take, what exactly am I playing? A move like rook f6, for example, this is blocking this f6 move. I mean, you can do that, but how exactly do you continue if white just plays bishop f4? This is threatening here on e5, destroying the structure. Yeah, and if I take here, white pushes g4, g5. This is a tremendous attack. So a very tough position. Yeah, bishop e4 is amazingly strong, but well, my opponent, he played f6 relatively quickly, and it's a very understandable move. I mean, at first when I was looking at this, I really thought I'm in trouble, but I had spotted the defensive setup, which in fact is quite reliable. So bishop e4 is much better, but it's very tough to make that call. I took on f6, I must. rook takes gf, bishop h6. This was his idea, and it's a very logical idea. With f6 he opens up all pieces, the bishop is opened up. This bishop is taking on h6 quickly, and my king position is not very good, of course. But I have a defense here, and I found it, and I saw it a couple of moves earlier. And this is queen d7. This is in fact a very strong move. I mean, it's the only move, but it still needs to be found. The idea is to get the queen over here to get a counterattack against g3. This is white's only problem in the position. His king is also not very safe, and I can always counterattack the g3 pawn, and with it the king. This is important. It seems that after queen d7, black is okay. However, it's not easy. As we see immediately afterwards, he played rook f1. Yeah, and here I was only thinking beforehand, okay, well, queen d7 I need to play. I need to get to g4 and h3. But I hadn't decided yet to which square I'm going to put the queen, to h3 and g4. I was calculating a bit. And, well, you know, we had this rather quick time control where you only have 90 minutes for the whole game. And after 2 or 3 minutes, I decided, okay, just go with your gut instinct and play queen h3. And it turns out that this is a bad move. Queen g4 was much better. And we see why in the game. It gets pretty obvious, but it still needs to be seen beforehand. Okay, he played bishop f4. And yeah, the problem is that the idea is he threatens to take and then play queen f2 to f8. Yeah, this is what was played. Look at this, takes. And now if I take with the f pawn, there's queen f2, and here I'm totally busted. I cannot cover f7. Yeah, and the difference is if the queen would be on g4 instead, I have queen g7. I can put it on the board just to make it more clear. If we play exactly like that, bishop e5, bishop d7, takes, queen f2, this isn't a problem because I can just drop back. Yeah, and now I'm covering those sensitive squares, and even maybe I can play rook f8. I mean, not at the moment because of bishop h7, but yeah, I can fight for the f file even. So this is okay for black. This is really not a problem here. And this is the reason why queen g4 was much better than queen h4. Well, I played this, and after bishop f4, it dawned on me that I had done something rather stupid. But okay, the thing is, I overlooked a key move. So I thought that, okay, maybe queen g4 was easier, but I wasn't aware of the troubles I'm already in. I mean, bishop d7 I played. It seems that this was still a bit tougher defense. Knight d3, queen d3, knight f5. Yeah, this, however, white can answer with bishop b6. It's a pretty funny move. Yeah, the thing is, I cannot take here because check. Queen g6 will even lead to a checkmate in a couple of moves. And yeah, I need to take here, and then he has the funny move queen e4, intending queen e8. I didn't see those ideas. I mean, the problem was, what I overlooked is, I played bishop d7 here. He took on e5. Of course, I saw that if I had gone to g4, I would have been able to play here, yeah? This is now just losing. So I played d takes e5, and my problem was, I only saw the move that he actually played. And this is a mistake. Funny enough, he played queen f2. It's a mistake in terms of that there is a stronger move, and we both didn't see it. In this position, white can actually win the game outright with a very strong move. And this is rook f3. That's a very strong move. From just tactically, it's very strong. It has the idea to play queen f2 next. Yeah, just not putting the queen on f2 in front of the rook, but behind the rook. And this is very, very problematic now. If black plays, for example, rook f8 to cover this, there's d6. And now there's absolutely no reply. Yeah, let's say I move the knight.
Check.
Yeah, knight g6, but this is even stronger, intending queen h6 and black can resign. It's really an absolutely deadly position. Another problem is, if I go here, queen g4, then as mentioned, there's queen f2, and again I have really no great move. If I cover with rook f8, there is d6, which is the strongest reply, knight c6 and knight f5, and this attack is totally decisive. But rook f3 is a move. Well, if you give it to a computer, it will just play it out, and that's okay. You're winning. What's the problem? But the thing is, it's very difficult to play in a real game, and he played queen f2, which also looks very, very attractive. But it turns out that it is not as strong. White is still better, yeah, but it's not as strong. Now I can play rook f8, covering that, and of course I was totally oblivious of that. I didn't really see rook f3. So for me, I don't know. I was pretty satisfied here, but yeah, it turns out if white plays correctly, he is still better. What he now should do is probably the move bishop e4. Yeah, the idea is to improve this bishop a bit, maybe use it to attack the queen. And also, white is now threatening something, the move d6. Yeah, you want to kick this knight to get the f5 square. The problem is what he did in the game. Well, after that, what's my move? Yeah, queen g4, I guess. And this is what I saw in the game, like queen e3. And then let me look at my notes. Yeah, there's f5 that can be tried. The problem is I cannot just play this, because d6 and now those kind of knight invasions are, yeah, basically winning. It's also this move possible. For example, like this. Oops, sorry. Like this, because the capture is not really helping. This is too strong. Yeah, bishop e4 is probably what he should have done. However, he did this relatively quickly. He played the move d6, which really shocked me, because I thought, well, d6 that cannot be the move really, because bishop c6, yeah, is the easy to see reply. And I'm pretty sure that he saw the move, because I mean, it's not something that a strong player would overlook. It's a direct counter threat with mate, and it's occupying the long diagonal. He certainly saw the move, but after I played bishop c6, he still took lots of time to decide what to do next. I think he probably had planned something against this, but now found out that the idea that he had planned, that it failed somehow. Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to look at the game together with him afterwards. It would have been interesting to learn what he had overlooked here. The thing is, it's not yet dramatic for white, but he has spoiled his advantage now. There are ways to be worse, of course. If white plays something like this, for example, I just play knight c8 and I pick up this pawn. And there's absolutely nothing as a compensation for that. Black is just much better. Yeah, what else is there? Yeah, the queen trade, for example, is also not great. I still pick up the pawn with the knight. Yeah, he played the absolute best move here. He played queen to e3. Not something that you love to play, of course. I mean, there's always this check now to reckon with. Okay, but white has this counter ideas. Okay, next move is easy, the only move, knight c8. Yeah, trying to get the pawn, and it was the only move anyway. The knight was hanging and I had no other square. Yeah, and here is the absolute critical position of this game. I mean, there were many tough positions before and everything, but right here the game is decided. It turns out that white here has more than one possibility to force a draw, basically, or let's say keep the position equal, because I mean, it's not a real draw, but it's an equal position. There are some perpetuals possible though. Okay, what should white do? A move like bishop f5 is interesting. Queen check. Yeah, I need to check there. No other possibility.
Check.
Yeah, look at this. Yeah, white here has a very serious counter attack, like this. Yeah, tending queen g6 checkmate. Yeah, I can play knight e4. That's very important. Yeah, and now, for example, bishop d5 is a possibility that can lead to a draw. Bishop takes, c takes. The knight is hanging. Yeah, if I try to win a piece, I lose the knight. And if I take here, there's queen g6, and this is one of the perpetuals, as black is counter-threatening very seriously himself.
Check.
Those checks needs to be played to draw. This is one possibility to draw. Another one, or another interesting move, was d7, just jettisoning this pawn. Bishop takes, bishop f5, also interesting to get the knight to f5. And this is a position after rook d8 that the computer, or Houdini, just evaluates as dead equal, probably seeing perpetuals like this: queen c5, queen h7, knight e3, and we have some sort of perpetual. However, in a practical game, this is still a completely different matter. Not quite sure what would have happened there. Yeah, the thing is, he played rook f5, and yeah, I'm not sure what he overlooked, but this is not working, this move. And it's not working simply because of knight takes d6. This is certainly the move that he saw, that's clear. But I guess he must have overlooked something afterwards. I'm not sure. Maybe rook g5, that he planned rook g5. I'm really not sure. He played rook h5 now. Maybe this is what he had planned, and he had overlooked something here. I'm not sure. It looks very dangerous at first, but I'm just escaping here. Yeah, like this. I can always go to e6. I'm really not sure what he overlooked, because, well, knight d6 is easy, and what exactly are you doing now? He played rook h5, as mentioned, and the curious thing is that it's not like I only have one winning move. I have more than one winning move now. Afterwards, to be honest, rook f7 even looks easier. I played king f7, which is winning, but maybe rook f7 was even easier. It looks looks a bit scary, this move, but I'm threatening maybe rook g7, and yeah, something like bishop g6, for example, is not helping him much. I can go to d7. It still looks dangerous, but there is no mate simply, and he cannot just involve the queen, because I mean he can, but it's not leading to anything because I have this queen trade. Yeah, rook f7 also was okay, but I saw king f7 and saw that it wins, so I mean no use in looking at anything else. The problem is I simply go to e6 and the king is safe there. There is nothing much happening. He gave this check now. Yeah, the alternatives are mostly checks, so this needs to be examined. But I just go to e6. There is nothing going on. For example, if he now tries this, try to pin here on the 6th rank, I have this check and knight e4. Yeah, and black will force a queen trade, after which he has a very easy endgame win. with a pawn, and not just a pawn. Look at this silly knight on h4, which is totally dominated by the bishop. So black is completely winning here. Also all pawns are weak, of course. Yeah, so the rook check is also not helping. He gave this check on g6, and well, I just go here. And yeah, the king is safe. What can you do? He can never ever move the knight because of queen g2 checkmate. And yeah, this counter attack is just very very annoying for white. He cannot really coordinate his pieces. He played king f2 now, after which there's more than one good move, but the time was yeah, was getting low, and I really wasn't sure what's the best continuation. After a while, I just decided to take on c4. Just grab another pawn. I mean, the thing is, he cannot play bishop f5, as queen f5 is a very easy win. Again, transposing to an endgame with 2 pawns to the good. And well, I saw that after knight c4, he basically must play queen d3. There is no other move to prolong the fight. So this is what he did, and then I just, oops, this was bad.
Check.
Then I gave the check.
Check.
Those checks, it was clear. And knight d6. This was my plan when I took on c4, because here I'm threatening bishop b5 winning, and yeah, winning the queen. And I thought that here he does not have any attack, and it turned out to be the right judgment. White absolutely has nothing. He took his last couple of minutes to try to find something against the king, but there is nothing. And yeah, check. At the end he decided to give this check. Okay, I must take that. And now queen takes. It's very important that knight takes is not helping at all, because check. Queen g2 will absolutely for sure trade queens. Yeah, like this. Check. With a check. And this is the reason why it's so easily winning. Otherwise, knight f5 with those kind of ideas would have been very tricky. Note that he cannot go here due to queen f3, check. Which wins the house. Yeah, so he check. Needs to take with the queen. And now I can just go to d6. There is nothing bad happening. He went here. Yeah, if he gives the check first, I can just go over there. Check. All the way to b6. And the king is safe on b6. There is nothing bad happening. Yeah, this is also covered by the queen on g1. So he does not even have a check. And I'm 2 pawns up. And I have some attack myself. So he really needs to find a mate or something very dramatic. Yeah, he tried rook h7, not just cutting the king off, but yeah, black is already is too strong here. Yeah, here I took a while, and I couldn't find a win by checking. Yeah, just checking him, and at the end I decided, okay, just grab another pawn. Why not? I mean, I didn't see anything bad happening to me, so I took it. And the important thing is that after knight g6, what he played, that I have a winning line. I need to have exactly this winning line, but I saw that. Check. So the check here, king e3. And now this is very important. Now only one move wins, but it is winning. So what I played was okay. The key move here is bishop to b5. That's the important point now. Threatening queen e2 mate, and this saves the rook. The mate threat is very strong. He has no check even here, or no meaningful check. So he went for c4, and now I have check. Queen g1 check, and I will be able to capture on c4 with a check. Yeah, like this here. Check. This is what happened in the game. Yeah, he now played king to e1. Yeah, something like that is not helping. I can check. Take here, or bishop a4. They both win. Sorry, here. Yeah, and what exactly is the easiest here? Can I go e4? I didn't have this in my notes. The computer here wants to do this. Okay, yeah, it's probably also winning. I mean, it's 4 pawns and I have the attack. Yeah, he went to e1, and after that queen e3 is relatively easy. This runs into a direct queen loss. So here, and now I took a moment if there is a mate, and I didn't find a mate, so I just took it. King here and bishop e6. That's the easiest way to do it. I'm just attacking the queen. He has no check, and if the queen moves away, let's say here for example, I have this check, and I will pick up the knight. So after this bishop e6 move, he resigned. So yeah, this was an absolutely fantastic start of this tournament. Of course, after the 2 initial wins, I even managed to win the 3rd game against this strong grandmaster, who of course didn't have one of his best days. He I guess missed around here. If we just go back to this critical spot, yeah, I mean, if we look at this, bishop e4 was stronger, very tough to play. But here, after I committed this mistake, queen h3, he had this opportunity here with rook f3, which was very strong. And yeah, not easy to see, but the main problem was that he went d6. I mean, he let the win slip by not playing rook f3, but this is still a very decent position for white. That is certainly easier for white to play than for black, but d6 really gave it away in terms of an advantage. And then he played rook f5, miscalculating something. I'm not quite sure what. I mean, I couldn't really ask him. So yeah, after knight d6, he had no real attack, and in fact it was black's attack that was even more effective at the end. Yeah, so this was the 3rd consecutive win at the start, and okay, it was clear with 3 out of 3 that in the 4th round I would get one of the absolute top guys of the tournament. Here Kveinys was I think number 8 or 9 seed in the event, and okay, with 3 out of 3 it was clear that I would get an absolute top player. But it's tough in those tournaments. If you in this round, in the 3rd round, for example, Grandmaster Granda Zuniga from Peru, he's rated 2680 or something, close to 2700. He lost a game against a player with 2400, 2450 or something, and it's not an easy task to win all those games. Okay, so look forward to the next round coverage, as in round 4 I'm playing an even stronger grandmaster than covered in this game. Thanks for watching.